Hi guys, welcome to our literary podcast, and today we will be focusing on William Shakespeare's play The Tempest. Today we hope to give you our thoughts on the play and how we understand the themes that we have chosen. I am with my fellow classmates and co-host Athule and Asavela. Today we hope that you enjoy our podcast and get an understanding of how we interpret the play, the themes, and how we can link it to modern day politics.
Well, as my co-host has said, we are going to be focusing on the play The Tempest by William Shakespeare. And the play is centered around a protagonist, which is Prospero, who uses his magic to control everything and everyone around an island. And as I have said an island, the play is set on an island which is owned by a character, Caliban. Yes.
So today we're focusing on the two crucial themes in the play. The first theme is power and control, and the second theme is colonization and imperialism. Even though the play was written 100 years ago, but the Shakespearean idea still connects with nowadays situations.
As you have said that we are going to be focusing on power and control, I think we are going to be delving on power as the first aspect of the things. And I believe that the main source of power for Prospero is his magic, because he uses it to control everything that centers around the play. Because when the play starts, he uses the magic to cause the shipwreck, and as he made the storm, and he brought his enemies on the island in order to punish them for the deeds that they have done to him.
Adding on that, Prospero does not only controlling people, but as Athule said, he controls the incidents in the play. So Prospero is the one who's ruling the island by all means.
Yeah, I think Prospero is a symbol of power, and his power comes through from the supernatural, as well as influencing his influence by changing the dynamics of the play and the way in which Caliban lives to suit his ideology of how this island that does not belong to him should be used. I think he also initiates power because he feels that he is more superior towards his enemies and towards Ariel and towards Caliban.
We also get to see that he uses his power to make others need him, because we get to see that Ariel depends on him for freedom and Caliban depends on him for surviving on the island.
Remember, Prospero is an educated man. He also uses knowledge to control the others, and Prospero sees himself as the one deserving in the island. As Noncedo said, Prospero sees himself as the one who is superior and others as inferior, like Ariel and Caliban.
To explain the whole point of knowledge, I think we could look at the fact that Prospero's knowledge is above everyone else in the play, because even the current Duke of Milan, he has acquired a position that Prospero already has. So by his logic, the fact that he has more knowledge over his enemies, Ariel and Caliban, he feels that he is worthy of just taking this land and essentially controlling everyone on it. I think we can then move to the second part of our first theme, which is control.
Yes, and I believe that Prospero uses control by controlling who knows what and at what time, because he controls what Miranda knows about their past. Because when he told Miranda the story, but not all of it, and yeah.
Yeah, I think Prospero, I think we can say that he uses control in two ways, especially when it comes to Ariel and Caliban. He controls Ariel through reward, and he also controls Caliban through fear and punishment, simply because Caliban is not as obedient as Ariel, because Ariel is expecting something from allowing Prospero to control him, whereas Caliban does not expect anything, because the form of control that Caliban and Ariel experience are two different things.
Yeah, even though Prospero was the most controlling person, but he also used his controlling to change his mind and took another decision to make peace and give Caliban his land. By doing that, he was also controlling, but he used controlling on other way.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think now we can move on to the theme of colonization and imperialism. We can firstly focus on the colonization part of the theme.
Okay, while in the colonization part, we get to see Prospero as the colonizer, because he came into the land that was not his and used usurpation by taking something that is not rightfully his. And at this point, the land is a symbol of colonized spaces.
Yeah. I think this is also a reflection of history, and as Asavela has said in the beginning of the podcast, that this play, as much as it was written centuries ago, the themes are so prevalent in today's society, because we have seen this happen in history when European or Dutch settlers have settled on foreign lands such as Africa. We are also continuing to see this theme of a foreign person coming onto a land that they do not know and changing the narratives, as currently we see that happening in Cape Town, for instance, how now foreigners or tourists rather. We'd like to apologize for the disturbance. We had a few technical issues. Continuing on my point about the gentrification that is currently occurring in Cape Town, I think we can see that as a point of these people from these first world countries seeing themselves superior, so much so that they do not feel the need to follow our laws and, be mindful of the people that currently occupy our land of South Africa.
Oh, remember, Caliban was categorized as deformed. Caliban was called by names like monster. The same way during apartheid, during apartheid, when Europeans arrived in Africa, white people, they were calling us by names like baboons or monkey.
They were dehumanizing us.
Yes.
Savages and so on.
Okay, on that point of dehumanization, we get to see that Caliban, as the owner of the land, gets to live a life that is
Unfavorable.
Unfavorable, because just like us as black people, there was a racial classification where we put on places like we had to live on
cramped spaces, whereas
and
this is our land.
Yes, and then you get to see Caliban living on the same spaces that we lived in, as much as he is the owner of the land.
Yeah, Caliban was also enslaved. Like our ancestors was used to be exiled.
He was enslaved, and that to him was a form of he had to obey in a form of surviving, just like our forefathers did.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think is there any other points on colonization? I'm trying to think, like in a way which you can link it to the play. I don't think so. But if there's no point, I feel like we can move on to the theme of imperialism. Would you like to take over?
On the part of imperialism, I would like to say that the fact that Prospero taught Caliban his language was a form of him enforcing his culture and his influence on Caliban.
Yeah,
because as much as he was teaching Caliban his language, he was not teaching him just for him to know the language or for him to be intelligent and all that, but he was teaching him in a way that he wanted to that if ever he asks something from Caliban can be able to understand what is being asked from him. He was teaching him his language in a form of enslaving Caliban.
So we
more
see
further.
like language being used as a form of control. We can also date this back to apartheid era where African learners were required to learn Afrikaans, not because they necessarily wanted us to be in a proper standing of succession, but rather for us to make better employees, for us to make better servants to them, so that they don't have to step out of their comfort zone, you know. So like I get what you are trying to say.
And that gives me a question that as they arrive on our lands, why do they teach us their languages and do not learn ours?
Why do they feel that their languages are better? Why is it that English was made the medium of communication? Why can't, if we want to communicate as different people, why can't we learn each other's languages? You know?
Yes.
Yeah, we can say also Prospero used naming as form of language, because objects around the island were changed and called by using the Prospero's language. So yeah, we can say naming is the form of language. Yeah.
I think what a takeaway that we can use from this is in Act 1, Scene 2, where Caliban states that he uses this language that he was taught by Prospero as a way of cursing him. This can be seen as rebellion, and I think we, as well as like Black South Africans, can also take this language that we have been taught, English, to sort of rebel or fight against the system that was not made for us. Yeah.
So we can fight back using English against whites.
Yes.
Why in the form of rebellion? We get to see that, for example, the East London in Eastern Cape was named by colonizers. The name East London was not the name by our forefathers.
Yes, because we don't have East London.
Yes, so people from our land are trying to change the name to Ugombo, which was a name back then for East London. So they're changing the name to Ugombo City as a way of rebelling against this colonization and all that.
And I think we can see colonization in modern politics. In cities, like cities especially surrounding Kwaku, for instance, we have a city called Harrismith, Pietermaritzburg, Ladysmith. Like you feel that the Smith person felt so much superiority and so much privilege that he wanted to name two cities based on himself only. I feel like, you know, what is happening in East London should happen throughout South Africa, in which that our cities should have our own names that stem from our languages.
Yeah.
I think, is there a way that we can link power to modern day politics? I think we can look at the war that is happening currently between the USA and Iran. You know, we can look at we can actually link Prospero to being or having the same characteristics as Donald Trump, because we see these people that have massive influence try to take over areas that do not belong to them.
So Donald Trump is the one who has the power over the wars that are going on.
Yeah, I feel like because of how strong the US military is,
Yeah.
he feels that he can do whatever.
Anything.
Because he knows that these people, they will not do anything to them.
At the end of the day, he's going to win.
Exactly, he's going to win because they have this power.
So,
But he's misusing his power because
The same way
there's
that
no
Prospero
way-
uses
so
Yes.
you're going to
it,
tell me that Trump is seeing himself as superior to the others.
Yes,
Just
superior
like
to everyone,
Remember-
especially because he comes from a first world country and Iran is a third world country.
I remember the war was against Iran and Israel, ne?
No, the war was basically, I think so, I'm not
Yes,
sure. But
Donald
like,
Trump took the stance. The war was not against Israel and America only. Iran and America, but Donald Trump take the stance because he know after all he is going to win, and he knows that if he contributed on that war, he will gain more power. Yeah.
I think we can also link this to the fact that the powers that are, like, let's say, linking maybe like religion, we can say that in Israel they are mostly Christian believers, the same way in America they are mostly Christian believers. We can link this to the play in terms of we can see that Stefano and Prospero, they come from the same country and they feel that they both can assert this power over Caliban simply because Caliban is different.
And then we get to see Stefano and Tranquillo believing on the bottle, and they get to be like, oh, I'm like what? I forgot the word. I'm swearing on the bottle, like swear on the bottle that everything that you are going to do is going to be like you're going to do everything like for us, for that doing that to Caliban. So like when you're saying that you believe through Christianity, and then like they're believers to the bottle because they're drinking wine, you know, that I don't know if I'm making sense or what.
No, I'm saying, Lottie, like, you know how they come from the same place, which is Milan. The same way that these two powers, which are Israel and USA, come from the same place, which is Christianity. So they are forming against this enemy, which is someone or something that is different. That's how I'm linking it together.
Understand.
Are there any more questions?
I would like to ask a question that since we are looking at Prospero and his control over everyone around the island, do you think that his leadership and control are very fair to the people around the island?
You can be the good leader, but you are cruel. So I'm against that.
I'm against it because how can I say this? Him being betrayed does not justify his treatment towards Caliban and taking Caliban's life.
And you cannot return evil by doing evil.
Yeah, I think that's very true. So I think that's enough from us. We hope that you were able to see where we are coming from, and yeah, we hope that this was insightful as it was to us because we have a better understanding of the play.
Thank you, and we're hoping that you have learned everything. And I, for example, have learned something that I didn't know from my co-hosts. And thank you.
Yes, podcast posted our understanding.
Bye.